everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, welcome back for yet another fact-filled episode of Fire Your MD Now. Please go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, 24/7. Check it out. There's information there that will save your life, and I am not speaking in hyperbole. I am not exaggerating. If you had seen the things that I have seen people recover from in 24 years of the clinical application of science-based medical nutrition, you would tell everybody in your town about my website, and you would tell everybody in your life about the Longevity Company, and you would beat your feet to the next live Longevity lecture, because the information that we bring to the table is science-based, clinically verified, delivered by licensed holistic physicians with actual clinical experience who actually give real patients with real diseases assistance in health recovery with science-based, clinically verified non-drug therapeutics. And there isn't anybody else that does that. Not like we do. You know, in the wonderful world of naturopathic medicine, by the way, in order to become a naturopathic physician, what do you need? Well, here's what you need. You need 4 years of pre-med, 4 years of naturopathic medical school. There are only 5 medical schools in North America that teach it. 4 years pre-med, 4 years naturopathic medical school, about 1,000 hours of clinical supervision. You need to pass national boards. You need to pass state boards. And you need to complete 25 hours of continuing education credit every year. It's a full-blown medical degree. And your pharmacist, your pharmaceutical rep, Big Pharma does not want you to know that I exist. Big Pharma does not want me to have a license to practice medicine. Big Pharma wants me to keep me and all of my colleagues under their jack-booted heel. I am only allowed to practice medicine legally in 16 states, plus Puerto Rico, in the United States. You got to be kidding me. You think we have a free medical market here? Snap out of it. We do not. We haven't had a free medical market in the United States since the early 1900s. It all went south about 1910, 1915 after the Flexner Report. You want to read about that? You want to read about the real evolution of medicine in the United States? Get my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, which is available now as an ebook through Amazon.com. The best place to get it is through my website, fireyourmdnow.com. I'm going to be taking your calls in the next segment. That number, if you'd like to call and talk to me live about a health condition, 866-582-9933. That's toll free. 866-582-9933. Once more, 866-582-9933. And if you're listening to the podcast after the live broadcast and you'd like more information, call my friendly, knowledgeable assistants. I got a slew of them. That number, toll-free, 855-347-3696. What are we up to? We're up to changing the world. Yeah, you think I'm being grandiose? You're wrong. You look back in the United States, how many people signed the Declaration of Independence? About 52. 52 people changed history. Well, we're going to do it again. How are we going to do it? By ignoring Big Pharma. We're not going to fight them. We're not going to try to out-legislate them. We're not going to try to, hit them head on. We're doing an end around, baby. We're doing an end around. We're going to ignore them. Tune into this radio station every day. Show up at the lectures. Read the books. Subscribe to my online health recovery program, and we will show you how to be your own doctor. We will show you how to safely and effectively secure your health, recover your health, get over chronic health conditions, because we have access to science-based, clinically verified therapeutics which support and promote your body's ability to fix itself. That's right. The biggest difference between what we do and what the MDs do is we actually help your body to recover from things. MDs are trained in the management of symptoms with drugs. They can't even cure heartburn, and we expect them to cure cancer? You've got to be kidding me. Remember my primary message. Your MD does not know what's best for you. Your MD knows what your MD has been trained in. And what your MD has been trained in is one very small piece of the pie of medical science. Your MD has been trained in the pharmaceutical management of illness with drugs and surgery. 99.9 times out of 100, they are not interested nor concerned with the causative factor. All they're concerned with is how to manage it. Have you ever known an MD to be able to cure arthritis? Ever known an MD to be able to cure high blood pressure? Ever known an MD to be able to cure depression? Or even heartburn, my favorite? No, but they can manage it. They can't cure it. They can manage it. And by the way, according to the FDA, the only thing that can cure anything is a drug. So we could have thousands of patients with type 2 diabetes. They follow our advice, their blood sugar is normalized, and we can't call it a cure because that's against the law. The only thing that can cure anything is a drug. You've got to be kidding me. If you had any idea how much control the pharmaceutical industry has over your health and over your life, even at the legislative level, there would be a rebellion tonight. It's worse than when we were under the thumb of good old King George. It is worse. You know why it's worse? Because you don't see it. Best place to hide something is in plain sight. Facts are a stubborn thing. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical therapeutics. 780,000 people a year die because they went to an MD. 780,000 people dead. Dead as a doornail. And what do? We wake up the next day and pay our medical insurance premium like it's the best thing to happen, since sliced bread. Quite frankly, I think we're being thought controlled. I've got no evidence to support this fact, but it doesn't make sense to me how any one profession can consistently produce such horrible, lousy, piss-poor results and still own the lion's share of the business. Are you kidding me? 780,000 people a year dead. Can you imagine if it was the postal workers that did that? If postal workers killed 780,000 people a year, or if fifth grade teachers killed 780,000 people a year, or if automobile salesmen killed 780,000 people a year, truck drivers killed 780,000 people a year, airline pilots killed 780,000 people a year, there'd be rebellions in the street. We wouldn't put up with it. But the MD does it, and we go right back to them the next day. Oh, that doctor, he did the best that he could. Well, maybe, but really, your doctor should be horrified at the statistics behind his effectiveness. What, is he blind? The mechanic at Ford that makes the part of the engine that blows up knows that he made the part of the engine that blew up, and his job is to fix it. And so what does he do? He fixes it so it doesn't blow up again. But not the MD. The MD consistently fails to cure anything. The MD consistently hurts people. I'm not saying they're sadistic. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose. But facts are a stubborn thing. The leading cause of death, MD-directed treatments. The MD's not blind. They know that they're doing it. They know that it's not working, but they keep doing it. How do these people sleep at night? For goodness sake. If somebody knows the answer, call me up and tell me. I think there's a thought control machine somewhere that the pharmaceutical companies built. I'm speaking tongue-in-cheek, but really, not really, I don't know. I cannot conceptualize how it is possible for us to continue to support and promote with our hard-earned dollars, which we have fewer and fewer of, the medical profession that's the leading cause of death. Why do we keep going back to these people? I have no idea. And it's even more frustrating from my point of view, because from my point of view, all that I and my colleagues do is clean up the mess that these guys make. Clean up the mess. And it's illegal for me to practice medicine. I get results. with safe and effective, clinically verified, non-drug therapeutics as a licensed physician, and it's illegal for me to do what I do in 36 states in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, there ought to be a law. We've gone to war for less. Quite frankly, it's time we all woke up, because it ain't going to get any better. And if you are relying on your MD to help you with your chronic health condition, you are going to be disappointed. In the next segment, I'm going to be talking about type 2 diabetes. Our perception of type 2 diabetes, how we perceive type 2 diabetes, the etiology and the genesis of type 2 diabetes, and furthermore, I'm going to tell you what you can do today to support and promote the health of your blood sugar, to give your body a fighting chance so that it can normalize its function regarding the metabolism of blood sugar. Because like the fella said, you don't know what you don't know. And as God is my witness, when it comes to health and all things having to do with medicine, the stuff that you don't know is going to kill you or help you. And that's why I'm here. That's why the Longevity Company is here. That's why we go out of our way to disseminate free information on the clinical application of science-based, clinically verified health recovery therapeutics, stuff that you can start to do today in order to recover your health. If you're going to the MD, who I like to call the Machiavellian minister of mediocrity, the Machiavellian medical minister of mediocrity, the 4 M's, and it's a fool's errand, ladies and gentlemen. Hold my hand, and I will pull you into the light of medical nutrition. So I'm going to attempt to do the rest of the radio show in my calm voice, as opposed to my fire your MD now voice. I guess there's time in the world for both, you know? Good cop, bad cop, angry doctor, not so angry doctor. Swear to God, folks, if you have seen what I've seen, if you sat behind my desk even for just 1 week, you'd be angry too. You would be horrified. You wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Because not only are the therapeutics delivered by MDs for chronic illness juvenile, old-fashioned, outdated, profit motive-based, ineffective, and deadly, all of which they are, and again, I'm not speaking with hyperbole. The leading cause of death is MD-directed therapeutics. There are over 35 drugs approved by the FDA as safe and beneficial that have class action lawsuits against them because they hurt or killed people. That's the very definition of snake oil. If you'd seen what not only are the therapeutics ineffective and dangerous, but the training of the average MD now is so pharmaceutically centrist-based that most MDs do not even know how to make the proper diagnosis. The amount of incompetent diagnoses that I've seen over the last 24 years is mind-chilling. I'm calling them out. I'm calling a spade a spade. The worst possible thing that you can do if you're suffering with a chronic health condition is to visit an MD. Their track record is horrible. Most of the time, they have juvenile understandings of basic fundamental human anatomy and physiology, and it is a fool's errand to walk inside their door. Type 2 diabetes is what I'm talking about for the remainder of this program. Now, type 2 diabetes is a very interesting thing. Now, when somebody has type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas, which is an organ in your abdomen, when your pancreas, it's a pretty big organ too, it's about the size of your hand, your pancreas. It's one of its jobs, one of the jobs of the pancreas, is to make the molecule insulin. And insulin is what allows blood sugar to gain entry into the cells of your body. Now, if you have type 1 diabetes, the cells in the pancreas that make insulin have been destroyed. They're not anymore. So your body cannot make insulin. This is why insulin, it's a good pharmaceutical drug, and this is one of the benefits of the pharmaceutical industry. It's one of the benefits of the MD reductionistic allopathic approach. Every once in a while, they actually come up with something that helps, which I guess is the exception that proves the rule. So, if you're type 1 diabetic, your body cannot make insulin, and you need to inject insulin in order to stay alive. If you don't do that, your body will not be able to metabolize sugar, and you will die, because sugar is the gasoline of the engine of the human body. Sugar is not the big bad voodoo daddy that you have been told it is. Sugar is so important to your body that your body makes it in a process called gluconeogenesis in the liver. Your body makes sugar. And your body loves sugar. The preferred form of sugar that your body uses as gasoline is glucose. But fructose, lactose, galactose, sucrose, they'll work too. And by the way, when you eat a complex carbohydrate like bread or potato or rice or beans, your body turns those carbs into sugar. And the reason that carbohydrates give you more prolonged energy states is because it takes a while for your body to break the complex carbohydrate down into sugar. So, you eat a great big bowl of rice and beans, and for the next 3 hours, your body is breaking those molecules down into their constituent sugars. However, when you drink orange juice or eat a candy bar or drink a Coke that has 7 teaspoons of sugar in it, your body has all the sugar it needs all at once. Boom, 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 just like that. Right? This is why complex carbs are, all the rage with athletes. The problem with athletes is they're eating the wrong complex carbs because they trusted the food industry to tell them which complex carbs were good, and they were lied to. They were played, which is why professional athletes don't live any longer than couch potatoes. You would think that professional athletes should be the longest-lived, healthiest people in the world, but they're not, because they're not doing everything correctly. Sugar is your friend. We're going to get into it in more detail on the other side of the break. FireYourMDNow.com. That's where you should be. Check me out on the World Wide Web right now and tell everybody in your family about it. Bumpa. Here come the MDs. Here comes Big Pharma sneaking into your homes with their vaccinations, with their misleading information, with their multi-million-dollar direct-to-consumer PR. And you're so tired from having to work 40 hours a week, having to work 60 hours a week, having to work 80 hours a week, having both you and your spouse having to work long hours a week just to keep up, just to keep food on the table, just to keep the mortgage paid from the exorbitantly high amount of real estate that you had to buy because that's what the market demanded, that you don't have time to question what the heck is going on. They've got you over a barrel, and they know it, and they feed this misinformation into your exhausted brains every night. You're just trying to relax and watch an episode of The Good Wife, and it's all about the next generation of bisphosphonates for osteoporosis or whatever. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, by the way, you know why they do direct-to-consumer drug ads? Because they work. Direct-to-consumer drug ads produce millions, tens of millions of dollars of profit for the pharmaceutical industry every year. Tens of millions of dollars. They work because we are so dumbed down here. We are so exhausted at the end of the day that we're like television zombies. We'll believe whatever they throw up on that screen. Even though what they throw up on that screen, we should be throwing up ourselves. But I digress. Let's talk about sugar metabolism again, right? So here's how it goes. Your body loves sugar. Your body is, the gasoline of your body is sugar. Needs it. Can't move a muscle without it. The problem with sugar is the amount of sugar in your blood. And here's the deal. If you have type 2 diabetes, your body can make insulin. But what happens is insulin becomes inefficient at opening the doors on your cells to let the sugar in. It sounds a little complicated, but here's how it goes. If you're healthy, you eat something that has sugar in it. Now, there's sugar in your blood. Your body realizes that there's sugar in the blood, so what does it do? It secretes insulin. All right, good. Now you have insulin in your blood and sugar. Insulin floats through the blood, lands on the wall of your cell. Every cell in our body, whether it's a brain cell, a bone cell, a heart cell, a kidney cell, a skin cell, it doesn't matter what type of cell it is, it needs sugar to live, and it has a wall. And the insulin lands on the wall of the cell on something called a receptor site. There are specific receptor sites on the cell wall for insulin, right? Just like if you go to the mall, there's certain places where the handicapped people can park, right? There's certain places where the valets can park. Well, it's the same on the walls of your cell. There's certain places that the insulin can park. When the insulin parks there, it sends a message through the interior of the cell to open up a door, letting the sugar in. It's kind of like if somebody shows up at the front door of your house, rings the doorbell, and the kitchen door opens to let the groceries in. That's kind of how it works. So, all right, so you eat something, it's got sugar in it, your body secretes insulin. Your pancreas specifically secretes insulin. Now there's insulin in your body. Insulin lands on the cell wall, rings the bell, and a door on the cell opens to let the sugar in. That's how it's supposed to work. If you have type 2 diabetes, what happens is you eat something that has sugar in it, there's sugar in your blood, your pancreas secretes insulin. Insulin lands on the receptor site on the cell wall, rings the bell, but the kitchen door stays closed. Because the signal to open the kitchen door did not make it through the middle of the cell. Why did it not make it? Because in order for that signal to get transported through the internal mechanism of the cell to open the door, there need to be about 27 minerals. Things like vanadium and chromium. Weird minerals that you've never even heard of, like hafnium and europium. And, of course, some of our old favorites, calcium and magnesium and sulfur and zinc and phosphorus. The main players here are vanadium and chromium, but you don't just need those, you need about 27 minerals in order to complete the biochemical cascade to open the sugar door. Well, when you don't have enough minerals in your body, the insulin rings the doorbell, but there's nothing in there, so the message can't get transported. It's like somebody has snipped the wires. So you ring the doorbell, nothing happens. So now sugar builds up in the blood because it was supposed to get inside the cell, but it can't, so it's backed up in the blood, kind of like a four-lane highway going down to one lane. There's a bottleneck there. Sugar builds up. Your pancreas makes more insulin. Insulin rings the bell, door stays closed. Now there's more sugar in the blood because it's not getting into the cell. Your body makes more insulin. Insulin builds up, rings the doorbell, kitchen door stays closed. Now there's more sugar in the blood, and so forth and so on. In the bloodstream of somebody who has type 2 diabetes, there is so much insulin that after a while, the sheer volumetric pressure of the insulin collapses the wall of the cell, breaks through the wall of the cell, punches through the wall of the cell, and a little bit of the sugar floods in. Now, punching through the wall of the cell is never a good idea because when you do that, you damage the cell. And if that happens enough, the cell becomes destroyed. This is why type 1 and type 2 diabetics lose their toes, lose their feet, lose their fingers, lose their hands, lose their legs, lose their arms, and go blind. It's because of all of this damage that's happening to the cells of their body all of the time from insulin. And what does an MD give somebody who has type 2 diabetes? Insulin. And I'm the quack, right? Again, they also give a drug called metformin, which helps the body, metabolize the insulin. But again, that's kind of a fool's errand because all that you really need in order to help the sugar door open, in order to help that kitchen door open to let the groceries in, once the insulin is binded to the cell wall, is the minerals. For goodness sake, in 1957, there was an MD named Merz, M-E-R-T-Z, Walter Merz. He could turn type 2 diabetes on and off in laboratory mice just by withdrawing the mineral vanadium from their diet, or chromium from their diet. He would restrict chromium consumption in the diet of his mice, and they developed type 2 diabetes. He put chromium back, the type 2 diabetes disappears. This was in 1957. The medical industry has known since 1957 that type 2 diabetes is linked to a chromium deficiency, but the drug companies haven't dispensed chromium as an effective treatment for type 2 diabetes because chromium is a naturally occurring substance and you cannot patent it. You can't patent it, so anybody can make it. So there's no profit margin there for them, so they're not going to do it. They would rather manage type 2 diabetes for the last 40 years of your life, make a couple of $100,000 in doing so, than give you a $20 chromium supplement and make it go away. You get it? If you're suffering from type 2 diabetes, you're suffering from multiple mineral deficiencies. You don't have a bad gene. You don't have a voodoo curse. You have the wrong doctor. For goodness sake, fire your MD now. Fire your MD now. And you know, take Youngevity's Healthy Blood Sugar Pack. That's why it was formulated. Youngevity's Healthy Blood Sugar Pack was formulated with the express purpose of providing your body with all of the raw materials that it needs to metabolize its sugars efficiently. So, what happens? You've got type 2 diabetes. You start taking the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack. You keep measuring your blood sugar numbers. And as God is my witness, they're going to come down and they're going to normalize. They're going to come down and they're going to normalize. It's just a matter of time. And you heard in one of the first episodes of this radio show that I ever did, I interviewed a gentleman from Missouri by the name of Jerry. He owns diagnostic laboratories in the United States. He has the third largest diagnostic lab company in the United States. He had type 2 diabetes for, I think, 10, 15 years. And he started Youngevity's nutritional supplements, and within 6 weeks, his diabetes was gone. His blood sugars were normalized. I think he's our biggest fan now. You bet your bottom dollar he is. He's our biggest fan, one of our biggest fans. Quite frankly, we have so many fans in this country because we have helped so many people to normalize their health, to get on the other side of a chronic illness. We have supported and promoted the health of so many people in this country, it is not even funny. This is one of the reasons why I get up in the morning. Because we are suffering for lack of knowledge, for no reason other than lack of knowledge and profit. We are at the hands of a for-profit giant pharmaceutical entity that does not give a crap about how healthy you are, that does not give a crap about your health. What they're interested in is the bottom line, and their bottom line is dollars. As God is my witness, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing you can do is fire your MD. Fire your MD now. So check it out. If you've got type 2 diabetes, go to fireyourmdnow.com, click on the Youngevity button, follow the buttons to the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, and purchase one Healthy Blood Sugar Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. There's one additional thing that we recommend everybody do if they have type 2 diabetes. If you had a broken leg, I would have to put that bone in a cast. I would set the bone, put it in a cast, and give you crutches. Now, if I set the bone and put it in a cast but did not give you crutches, if you're just walking around on that broken bone in the cast without crutches, it's going to break again. Because the pressure of gravity, the pressure of your stepping, is going to make the bone, before it's set, it's going to make that come loose again, right? You can't walk on a broken leg and expect it to heal properly. Well, if your body is having trouble metabolizing its sugars, then while you are supporting and promoting its ability to metabolize sugar with science-based, medically verified nutrition, it would be prudent of you to give your body some crutches. And in this regard, the crutches are complete avoidance of anything that's got extra sugar in it until your blood sugars have normalized. So no more fruit, No more fruit juice, no more honey, no more molasses, no more agave, no more desserts, no more anything that's got sugar in it or that tastes sweet until your blood sugars have stabilized for 30 days. If you add the sugar discipline to the 10 bad foods plus the healthy blood sugar pack, your blood sugar is going to normalize in record time. This is like never fail fudge, ladies and gentlemen. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. And it is impossible for your body to fix a nutrient deficiency disease with a drug. You can't do it. To fix nutrient deficiencies, you need nutrients. And the best nutrients I've seen in 24 years of clinical work, Youngevities. Check it out. FireYourMD.now.com. FireYourMDNow.com. Click the Youngevity button and get one healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight. You are going to love how you feel. Ashley is calling with a question, I think, about something about the difference between medicine in Canada and the States. So we'll let her tell us what the question is. Ashley, thanks for the call. You are live with Dr. Glidden.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I am so excited to be on the phone with you, or on the radio with you. I'm driving up to see you in Canada. You're going to be in Calgary this October 24th, and in Edmonton this October 25th. I'm really excited. I got a lot of my friends, my Canadian friends, going. And I grew up in Ontario, in Toronto. I now live in the States, but there's such a huge difference, very big culture shift between Canada and the States. And a lot of Canadians think that they don't have to pay for medicine because it comes out of their check. They don't even see it. But and then in the States, we of course know we have to pay for medicine. But I think it's so important that both Canadians and Americans know about holistic nutrition. And what's different in Canada is the system there is more about driving down the cost. So they'll give you one X-ray instead of 50 X-rays, which it's both sides of the scale. It's not good. So what can we do in Canada? How can we convince the Canadians that they need to focus on holistic nutrition?
Well, it's a great question, and, it's an interesting perspective, I guess, that you bring to bear on this question. Having grown up in Canada and now being a naturalized U.S. citizen, you got kind of a foot in both worlds, and you've had experience with both cultures. And you're absolutely right that in Canada, because it's a socialized system of medicine, the government pulls money out of your paycheck every week or every month or however often you get paid in order to pay for your medical care, right? And it's not like that in the United States. We have to purposely buy insurance ourselves to get a skin in that game. But in Canada, the medicine that you have access to, the medicine that's the top dog in Canada is the same medicine that's the top dog in the United States. It's MD-directed, pharmaceutical-centrist, allopathic, reductionistic medicine. So my heart really goes out to the Canadians because they are forced to go to see the MD because that's the only thing that their insurance pays for. That's the only thing that the government's socialized medical programs recognize. And it's a problem. And it's a big problem. Now, you can make the argument that in Canada, well, son of a gun, you can have private medical insurance if you want. Well, yeah, you can do that, but the fact of the matter is that the government's still going to take money out of your check even if you don't go to see the MD. They're going to do that. And this is why, in Canada, it's worse than it is here because access to the MDs has been legislated. It's mandatory, and wouldn't you just love to have a business? Wouldn't you love to have a business where the government took money out of the paychecks of everybody in the country and gave it to you? Wouldn't you just love to have that type of a business? Well, that's what they've got in Canada. That's what they've got in the nations around the world where it's socialized medicine. Now, the only thing that drives people to us anywhere, whether it's in the United States or in Canada, whether it's a for-profit medical system or whether it's socialized medicine, the only thing that drives people to the holistic alternative is pain and suffering. Because MD-directed medical therapeutics, whether they're paid for by the government or not, don't work. They don't work. This is the billion-pound gorilla in the middle of this country that nobody sees, in the middle of North America that nobody sees, in the middle of all industrialized nations around the world that nobody sees. MD-directed medical care for chronic health conditions do not work. They don't work. So what happens? People suffer for decades with arthritis, with high blood pressure, with type 2 diabetes. Their medications go up and up and up. The prescriptions go up and up and up. They change the dosage. They change the game all of the time. And after a while, anybody with a head on their shoulders gets frustrated. And they say enough is enough. And it's regretful, but most of the time, people are driven to our approach as a last resort. But we're going to get people because conventional medicine doesn't work. It's only a matter of time until everybody in the world has woken up to the promise of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Because, you know, like the fella said, where the rubber hits the road is where everything counts. Our therapeutics work. Can't wait to be in Canada. Go to my website, by the way, to check out the lecture details. All my lectures all around the world are right there at fireyourmdnow.com. And remember, these lectures are free no matter where they are. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Until we meet again, take your vitamins, change your diet, and recover your health.